What's up everybody, Emma Blackery here. Now when you hear my name, you might have one of three reactions. Number one, who? Number two, oh yeah, I remember her. She used to dye her hair lots of different colours and play Zelda and make videos of Nerdcubed and sing songs about Google+. You know, things from years ago that made you smile, nice positive things. Or number three, you might have a less than stellar impression of me. You might be one of anger or sadness, disappointment, because you know what, I've been on this platform a long time, and along that journey I've made some horrible mistakes, and we don't have time to go over every single one of them in this video, but would you like to know my top 5? Of course you would. That's why you're here. For context, I started my channel in 2012. I was a full-time YouTuber for many years, not so much now, and I'm going on this journey where I talk about the past, reminisce on the videos from your youth, my youth, because you know, I was 20 when I started, and the way I see it, I made these mistakes so you don't have to. So let's get into it. Number one, now these aren't in any sort of preferential order, but the first thing that comes to mind when I think about things I regret being on YouTube is my past attitude. Now, I'm not saying I was a big shot on YouTube by any means, but in the UK in 2013, 2014, having 1 million subscribers was a big deal. It just was, okay? It was a different time. And one of the ways I made a name for myself was being outspoken. You know, I'd call people out when I saw injustice. In the words of CM Punk, who was my favorite wrestler when I started YouTube, I wanted to be the voice of the voiceless. And that's great when you do it right. However, over time, I got a little bit cocky. I got a bit ahead of myself. It was very easy to, but I should have done a lot more to stop myself. I thought I was this big hot shot. So I ended up getting involved in tons of online drama, calling out fellow YouTubers, especially calling them out for writing books, and then I wrote a book. Oh, nice. I got into a lot of public spats and feuds, and they weren't entertaining in the slightest. They were just embarrassing to see. It can be a phone call. It doesn't have to be a tweet. And it's fair to say that, you know, I've lost a lot of friends along the way. I've had a lot of falling outs that were definitely my fault, whether or not I saw that at the time, but I would never accept that I was wrong in any way. I had to win every argument because it was so important to me. I got a massive ego, and it became a problem. I think there was also a time when I was invited to be a guest at a Comic-Con. I had a little merch booth and everything, and it got to the end of the day and I was pretty tired, and I didn't have the best attitude when even meeting some of you guys. I was a bit rude and snappy, and I look back and I think, oh God, these are the people that were supporting me, and I was rude. And if I was ever rude to you, if I ever snapped at you online or in person, I'm not saying it was all the time, I know I'm making it sound like I was just a dick non-stop, but if you did see me in those moments, I'm really sorry. I certainly didn't put my best foot forward at all times. I would love to say, you know, oh, I was young, I was, you know, early 20s and everything happened really quickly, and yes, those things are both true, but I should have taken a moment, been more grateful for what I had, and not come across like such an arsehole. And just touching back to talking about being very opinionated, you know, I used to overshare a lot. I used to have opinions on everything. So whenever there was YouTuber drama that had nothing to do with me, people would message me going, what do you think of this? Because people were expecting me to give my opinion, to give my reaction, like it was so necessary. And of course that made me feel like it was necessary. So it was this big ego spiral. So I would definitely say, you know, my attitude at times, you know, it certainly wasn't all of the time. In fact, I'd like to say that, you know, for the most part, I've been quite nice. I hope. Anytime I hear, you know, oh, Emma, I used to watch you when I was younger and you inspired me to get this tattoo or this hair and you made me want to chase my dreams and all that, you know, it means the world to me still. I love it. I see some of you guys on my shows or I talk to you guys, and some of you guys have been here for the best part of 10 years, and I've seen you grow from being teenagers at school who are quite insecure and shy to you're adults, you have children now. You beat me to it. It really is an honor to have, you know, been a big part of your life. So I'm sorry if you ever had a negative interaction. It's all love now. It's all love. It's a bit too late, but it's all love. Number two, now this one's a little bit more YouTube oriented rather than personality based. Starting so many YouTube channels. I kind of almost became known for having so many side channels or second channels, whatever we were calling them back in the day. YouTubers do it less so these days, but back in the day, people were so afraid of deviating from their regular content because we were so scared that if we deviated, then people would unsubscribe. And you know, numbers were such a big thing back then because they got us sponsorships and they just, you know, boosted our egos. So we didn't want to lose anyone. So any kind of content that was different, we put on a second channel. I don't even want to count how many channels I've had. I'll give it a try, and I'm going to count the ones that I've had alongside this channel. So no channels before 2012. which actually does exclude about 3. Okay. We had this channel, a second channel called Blackery TV. We had Emma Fails at Gaming, which lasted about 3 videos. Lazy Little Me, which was my first beauty channel. Boxes of Foxes, which was my second beauty channel, which actually lasted quite some time. Vloggery, which was a second vlogging channel. I'm not gonna count the Vivo because that was just a music necessity back in the day. That's Birdie Boots! I forgot my gaming channel, the gaming channel that actually lasted about 2 years or so. How did I forget Birdie Boots? I used to love Birdie Boots. I don't know why I stopped. Diversifying your channel so much is such a bad idea, and especially with the fact that I used to pretty much abandon them. I just treated them like, you know, new hobbies, new projects. And as I've touched upon in some recent videos, I did find out why I was so keen to just hop on new trends all of the time. And it wasn't just for popularity. I have ADHD. And that really does explain so much. I don't know how that wasn't obvious to me a few years back. I've had a few of you guys comment saying, yeah, I pretty much knew you had ADHD. You know, it's quite obvious. So one of the biggest reasons I regret doing that so much was, as I said, I used to just pretty much abandon the channels, you know. They wouldn't stick around for very long, and people got used to that. You know, whenever I start a new channel, people would be like, well, when are you gonna delete this one? In fact, on my channel Vloggery, which was just me sitting on a bed and talking, why not just put that on this channel? Anyway, the first video on that channel was called something like, so when are you gonna delete this channel? I even knew I was gonna discontinue it. It's not that serious. Okay? I feel like along the way, a lot of creators lost the love of just creating, you know? It became way more about money and views and hits and everything, and that's not why we started. We started because we had a passion. I think a lot of that passion got lost for a lot of YouTubers who used to watch back in the day, and that became obvious, and it led to a lot of fans being quite disillusioned. It sort of made that divide bigger between like creator and audience, you know? It didn't feel personal anymore. Number 3, now I touched upon the topic of oversharing in point number 1, but to touch on that a little bit more, because a lot of my success at the time was based upon having a strong connection between me and you. You know, we built this kind of trust, like I let you in on my life, you know, I'd take you shopping with me, my little vlogging camera, you know. I built a channel on intimacy and, you know, a strong, close connection, which meant being honest, maybe a little bit too honest sometimes, but I didn't set enough of a boundary for myself. I didn't allow myself to have much of a private life. Even when friends came over, I'd vlog it. I'd stick a camera in their face. Friends asked me to dog sit their pugs, and I filmed the pugs. You know, everything had to be a video opportunity. And there are some things that I really wish I could take back. And this is a little bit more of a serious point than the last 2. When I first started making comedy skits, my younger brother and sister, they were about 4 or 5 years old. And they loved what I did. You know, I'm their big sister making comedy videos. They didn't really understand what I was doing, but it was cool, you know? And over the years, when my brother and sister were still children, I put them in my videos. I said this was a serious point. I massively regret that. It does not matter if they're your brother, sister, close friend's child. They cannot consent. You can't even have a YouTube channel until the age of 13, and even then I think that is too young to be on camera. There are a lot of things that you cannot consent to legally until you're at least 16 in the UK, and I think being posted online by someone else should also come under that. My brother and sister were excited to be in my videos, but they didn't understand the risks and dangers of that. I filmed them in their fucking school uniform. I have no words. It was not something that I thought through and thought, oh, to hell with the risks. I genuinely was very naive. You know, even in my early 20s, I thought, well, you know, it's just harmless. It's just cute content. I think it goes without saying, there are bad people out there. Not everyone on the internet is a good person. I am extremely thankful that nothing bad came from me putting my brother and sister online. And I would say to any families out there doing the family vlog thing, you know, you got 5 or 6 kids that you're using to farm views and things like that, get your fucking shit together. Okay? Because all the views and all the money, everything, all the popularity, it's not worth it if something bad happens to your children. Don't fucking do it. Now, speaking of my own safety when it comes to oversharing, I used to film fucking skits and vlogs and stuff walking down the street that I lived in. I filmed skits of me opening the door of my dad's house. It's not like I outright posted my address online, you know, it wasn't visible for people to see, but I did not take enough care for my own safety. And I'm not going to touch upon this too much because it's still something I don't like to talk about, but I was not as fortunate as my brother and sister when it came to safety online either. I had my own security concerns around 2016, which actually led to me moving home. You know, I left my hometown of Basildon and moved to Brighton because of these security concerns that I created for myself. Is it my fault that people made me feel like my safety was in danger? No, it's their fucking fault. You know, they did those things, but I did not help that situation. I essentially facilitated it by just making myself so accessible. And now over the years, we've seen the dangers of, you know, doxing people on stream, swatting, things like that. Keep your personal information as private as you can. It's okay to have that separation, okay? Whatever bonus points you think you're getting with your fans from, you know, letting them in on everything, you know, it's not worth the risks that come with it. Number 4. Now, this one's a little bit more specific. We're gonna go back to 2019. So back in early 2019, I found myself embroiled in some drama. Shock horror, Emma's in fucking drama again, right? Well, to save you wondering what that drama was, I'll tell you. There were 2 separate things going on at the time. And these were 2 things I'd never faced before in my entire career on YouTube. Number 1, I'd got into a new relationship and it was going wonderfully. Some people online took issue with that relationship. There were a lot of rumors going around, from the mundane to the extremely far-fetched. I had people delving into my personal life like I'd never seen it before, all over some alleged scandal that was not a scandal at all. I'll save you the clicks, I'll save you the drama, I'll save you all the deep dive. It was nothing. It was an extremely intense time. I was keeping up with all the drama, all the things being said. There were rumors that I was a drug user, that I was pregnant. It was getting a bit out of hand, but it was all consuming and I really struggled with it. The second thing that was going on, that was just one of the things. The second thing that was going on was I had a video made about me in an attempt to get me cancelled. Would you like to know why? A drama YouTuber at the time made a video calling for me to apologize to someone that I had called out for speaking to a girl of school age. I didn't apologize for calling that person out for talking to a schoolgirl. And that's what people were trying to get me cancelled for. I don't know how I became the bad guy for not tolerating grooming, but there was an attempt made and it was horrible. I'd never had a video like that made about me before, and that was going on at the same time as this other thing. So here's what I regret. When it all started going down, I buried my head in the sand and I ran away. I deleted all of my social media, not just off my phone. I deactivated my Twitter account, my Instagram account. I got rid of everything, you know? I made a statement on Reddit and then I was gone for like 6 weeks or so. I think. I don't remember how long it was. It might have been like 4 weeks. I'm really not that sure. But I just ran away. I didn't want to tackle it head on because it was all so intense. It was all just going off. I really wish I'd stood my ground and said, you know what, fuck off. It took me a long time to get my head around everything that happened and come back and make a video. I made a video called Why I Left. And explained it all, but I wish I'd done that sooner. I wish I'd done that at the time that it was all happening. Because all you do when you delete stuff and deactivate stuff is it makes you look guilty. It makes you look like you've done these things. And also it's giving in to, you know, pressure from people that are wrong. If you've genuinely done bad stuff, yes, like, please, fuck off, fuck out of here. But I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what to do, but I didn't know how to deal with it properly at the time. It really just sideswiped me. I had a new single coming out and I ended up killing my own momentum for it because, you know, I wasn't posting anywhere. When I came back, you know, I wasn't quite myself. You know, it took me a while to get back into things and, you know, there felt like a disconnect. I wish I'd just been straight with you guys and be like, look, this is ridiculous. I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'm here. Ask me what you want to ask me and I'll tell you the truth. But instead, I didn't. I ran away. And in case you're wondering, that relationship that I got into that caused so much drama, we're getting married. So, and it's been 5 years, so it's fair to say that it was all kind of rubbish, wasn't it? It all just ended up bringing us closer, which is not to say that I'm glad it happened, you know, all the drama, but, you know, we got through it together. And we really can take on anything now. So that's like the one kind of blessing in all of it, really. This is a long video. Thank you for sticking with me for so long. But I'm gonna wrap it up here with number 5. This one's a really big one, and this is just very broad. You know, I said about me having an ego in point 1, you know, how I'd be a little bit, you know, abrupt and rude, and, you know, I thought the world of myself. In that, I also took everything, and I mean everything, so personally. I learned something a couple of years ago that really, I know it's really cliche when people say, oh, I learned this and it changed my life, but this really did change my life. One of the biggest rules of life is don't take everything so personally. It's not personal. We're not on this planet long enough for you to take something so personal. Now, obviously there are exceptions to the rule, so don't try and be smart with me, okay? Friends, family, you know, certain situations, they depend. But when a YouTuber that I idolized didn't want to collab with me, you know, I took it personally. When YouTubers had a Radio 1 guest DJ slot and didn't play my music, I took it personally. When someone unfollowed me on Twitter, I took it personally. When someone made a comment about me online going, oh, Emma Blackery, she's so annoying, I took it personally. I'd go after these people and say, well, what do you mean? I would check indirects, you know, if that's even a word that people use anymore. You know, I'd look up my name on Twitter and see what people are saying about me. I cared so much about what everyone thought of me. Like, my life depended on everyone liking me, which in turn makes you thoroughly unlikable. You know, I'd go after people who were calling me annoying and saying, why do you find me annoying? Why am I annoying? Well, you said I'm annoying. Tell me why. Do you not think that's fucking annoying? Whilst I maintain that, you know, the majority of my interactions with you guys online have been extremely positive over the years, I know there were people out there who were fans of me until maybe I said something to you, you know, I cut you down to size or something, you know, I responded to you, you know, we might have interacted really well in the past, and then, you know, something was said that I didn't like and I'd be affronted by it. And then that ruined that relationship between me and you. And if that happened to you at any point, again, I'm really sorry. I thought so highly of myself and I wanted everyone else to think really highly of me too. And I thought everything was so fucking serious. I couldn't take a joke. You know, there's a difference between, you know, standing up for yourself and, you know, loving yourself. And then loving yourself a bit too much. When people would say to me, oh, Emma, like, I love your music, The Promise really got me through. I went through a phase where I really hated that song. Why did I hate it? Because it was my most popular song. It's like, I talk about loving myself, I think I hated myself. You know, I hated my own fucking success so much that I'd get annoyed at you guys for saying that my most popular song was your favorite. How does that work? It's popular because it's so many people's favorite. Oh man, the amount of times that I made people feel bad for giving me a compliment because it wasn't the compliment that I wanted to hear. It sounds so absurd saying all this out loud, but this is all true. You know, I had that attitude for a while, and again, I deeply regret it. So my word of advice to you guys is, it's not that serious, okay? If you're genuinely hurt about something, you can use your words, but most of the time when someone does something or says something and it feels like it's aimed and personal and spiteful, it probably wasn't. You know, that person probably didn't put as much thought into it as you are right now. And if you feel like you're bubbling over, you know, you're getting irate, take a moment and ask yourself, is it that serious? Is it that deep? There are so many times I wish that I'd just taken that step back and just, you know, took a deep breath. And if it still felt like it was really sore and really hurt, I would at least be in a better position to have that conversation with that person and be like, hey, you know, I just wanna, you know, touch upon like what was said here, you know, I hope I haven't upset you in any way, you know, a mature conversation rather than, you know, going after people. What good does that do? Other than burn bridges. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 biggest regrets from my time as a full-time YouTuber, and also just being someone on the internet, you know, for the last 12 years. And this is how I'm gonna end this video. There was once a time where I was just never, ever happy. I didn't take a minute to appreciate, you know, all of the things I'd experienced, you know, the success that I was having. I wasn't even enjoying the success that I had in that moment. You know, back in the days when my videos used to get way more views, I'd look for the negative comments. I'd release some new music, I'd be looking for the negativity. Or, you know, if it was a certain number in the charts, you know, why wasn't it higher? You know, I was always looking for more, but not in a good way, not in an ambitious way, in a sort of self-deprecating, you know, I just want to be miserable kind of way. Now I'm 32, I'm calmer, I'm happier, I'm way more confident in myself, but in a good way. I treat myself well. And the other day, I made this little figure out of clay and I really like him. And I'm just really happy with him. I'm really proud of him. It's the first one I made. It's a new hobby that I'm sure, you know, won't last, but it's a little alien man. you know? And I just thought it was really nice. And you know, I made a few mistakes with him, you know, like the oven was a little bit too hot. So on the bottom, you know, he's got a little bit of a burnt butt, and you know, it was cheap clay, so you know, you got some like little bubbling marks all over him. He's not perfect by any means, but he's mine. I made that. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's enough. Thank you so much for watching, and as always guys, I shall catch you later.